Hey guys, I'm Rachel Cruz.
I'm George Camel.
And this is
Smart Money Happy Hour.
George?
Cheers.
Yes and amen. Delicious.
There it is.
Well, this is the show where two friends who happen to be money experts talk about what you're talking about. So everything from pop culture, current events, and money.
And we have a special guest today, Rachel. My producer from my YouTube channel, Alex.
Yes.
You got
Sorry, Alex. I was like, who's coming in? It's different. It's
sorry
Alex.
to disappoint you. It's just
time.
producer Alex
Sorry,
filling
guys.
in
Alex, I'm
for
so glad
producer
you're here.
Lindsay.
Lindsay is sick.
Yeah, so people love Lindsay's voice and her laugh, so you need to bring that
Alex
today.
has been there. You've been here for two other ones, right?
Yeah, I've been here before.
I've never heard you laugh, Alex.
You know?
Give us a lot. Look at
On command?
Look at
Yeah, on
George.
command.
George is funny.
There we go.
That's how he laughs on my YouTube channel, so now I know it's all fake. It's all fake. Today, Rachel, we're using a term that checks multiple boxes. It is giving melodramatic Facebook rant from your great Aunt Brenda and nerdy vocab word that will impress your smart coworkers.
Oh, yeah. What word is that, George?
The term is desensitized.
Oh, so we're going to be asking the question today, are we becoming desensitized as a culture from everything? From movies, money and debt, and so many other things, George. It's going to be a good episode.
That's right. And before we fully dive into this digital think piece, Rachel, we're sipping on a New York sour.
I mean, I love a sour, and I love New York.
But it's a beautiful drink.
it's, like,
you can't
purple
really
at top.
see it, but there's a beautiful like foam and color on the top. There's this orange and purple situation going on. So we're going to give you the rating. We're going to reveal the cost per glass at the end of the episode, and of course, recipe in the show notes. So stick around till the end.
That's right. Okay, so George, should we start off with some basics here?
Okay, what's a basic for you? The definition
Yeah, let's go to like
of
old.
desensitization?
Let's go to old Webster, shall we?
All right, here we go. The official def of desensitization is to make emotionally callous or insensitive, to make someone or something non-reactive to a stimuli that formerly induced a significant response. Leave it to nerds to make it more
What?
complicated.
Okay, so to make emotionally callous, I can take that, or you're insensitive.
Insensitive is a real easy word for desensitized. Okay, sure.
All in
Whatever.
there. Okay, so let's throw out some
Numb.
things,
I'm
George.
just going to go numb. Like you're just sort of numb to it. It doesn't affect you anymore.
You know,
what's some pop culture examples?
I'm gonna go like language and movies. Now that everything is like on net, it's not like when we were growing up. I feel like you watched everything on like ABC or NBC, and there was a level of censorship there.
Yes.
That you had to have on network TV. Now everything, HBO, Netflix, all these streaming services where they don't have a bar where they say that's too much. So, I mean, I think the language,
It's a little
not
much
to be
for you.
prudy prude here, but but here's what's crazy. You can go through, or I can now, and watch something and I don't even realize it. Like I've become desensitized. But every now and then I'll be like, man, I feel like they're just saying the F word a lot.
Well, I think like PG-13 is the new PG. Like back in the day, I feel like
yeah.
I could watch a PG-13 movie with my family and it wouldn't be awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're like, oh, they can do that in PG-13? Okay, that's where we're at.
And I will say this, though. What's going to be fun with Mia is you're going to go back and rewatch all your childhood movies.
And I won't realize.
And there are some, like Home Alone, during the Christmas season.
Yeah.
Home Alone 1. I mean, Uncle Frank's like, you little jerk. And they cuss in there. What do they say? What do they say in Home Alone? Is it?
Oh, that's right. They use the S word.
A word.
They use the S word.
We are censored here on this
We're family
episode
friendly, Rachel.
of this podcast, so we will not be using the term.
Listen, 7-year-olds are
but
listening.
3-letter A, yeah. Kevin, I wouldn't let you sleep with me if
Christmas
you were
Vacation.
rolling on my
One of your
And that was
favorites,
Buzz.
Rachel. The Griswold Family Christmas has some scantily
Sandlot. There's some
clad
stuff.
scenes.
So I'm just saying, we weren't all squeaky clean back in the 90s,
Sure.
George. You could look back on some and be like, dang, wow.
But it seems cute now compared to what's
I know.
out there.
That's
today.
fair. That's fair. How about video games? Are you a gamer?
I used to be a gamer, and I felt like back in the day, I was like, wow, there's some violence here. But now the violence is so 4D and so real.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
Call of Duty and all of that. And it's gotten aggressive. It's
Pretty wild, yeah.
Binge watching shows that were on live, like you had to tune in at a specific time. You don't have that anymore.
Oh, so we're
content is
desensitized
just-
by like an urgency that we don't have. An
Yeah,
urgency
you used to have to like
anymore.
wait a week, and now it's just like on demand.
I know.
You
Yeah.
just watch them all in a weekend, and it's over.
We just expect that.
Yep.
It's so true.
What else?
I think we're desensitized of how quickly we can get like music and things.
Just we have everything at our fingertips. I used to have to like Napster the album I wanted.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And these days,
Kazaa. Anyone?
yes.
Illegal. Definitely blew up Windows 95 with viruses.
Oh, no.
At the old family computer. Yeah, it wasn't good. But burnt CDs.
What's the statute of limitations on that,
or
Rachel?
you
They're going to
bought
come
the whole
after you.
CD,
Yep.
Mariah Carey Butterfly, to get 2 songs that you really wanted. You bought the whole CD.
That's true. They would pad the record with like terrible songs.
Yes.
Just to get to the singles.
And I remember some cassette. I'll give my age here. I wasn't like a full-on cassette. I was more a CD generation.
Oh, wow.
But we had a few cassettes. We had Amy Grant Christmas cassettes growing up. So I do remember you had to like flip the cassette around, turn it upside down, and put it back in.
But you never,
and
like, what I did was I would put the cassette in and I would record from the radio on the boombox
we did
to
that
make my
too.
own little playlist.
Or Delilah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Had a whole cassette.
We had one in
love
Boston. It was
songs.
called Magic 106.7, and it was a guy who was very like,
Okay.
like, hi, you're listening to Magic 106.7. I'm David Allen
Call
Boucher.
in with your love story.
Exactly.
We will.
That was the vibe.
That's how we grew up.
Simpler times,
Now,
kids.
You can just Spotify it.
Just find a playlist someone else made. Do all the work for you. Oversharing on social media. I feel like I've become desensitized to that. I just feel like back in the day, remember when
Just
Facebook,
expect everyone
it was
to-
like, what are you up to? And Rachel was like, nothing much, post.
Yes.
Now it's like,
Here's
know
my
everything.
political view on this one subject.
Yeah, and it's like your
everyone.
diary. And it's like, here's how if you are wondering how
It
my
is.
gluten intolerance is going, here's what's going on with my small
I
intestine.
know. Okay,
too
so
much.
here I will.
It's too much.
Okay, let me say this though, because as a woman, following a lot of like influencer people, other women, you're engaged in their lives. That's like what their job is to share their life, and then they get a bad rap because they're like, oh, you make everything look good, and then when they are actually like
Vulnerable.
show like a crying post or something to talk about the real, is that oversharing?
Well, it's not oversharing
All
as
the
much
guys
as
are
it is. It's just so not real. Like whenever I'm crying, I'm never like, ooh, let me get my phone out.
I know.
Hey guys, I'm in the middle of crying.
I'm trying to be
So
devil's
I don't know.
advocate.
It just feels weird. It's such
I
a
agree.
private moment.
I'm with you. I know.
It's
I
fine.
know.
There's a lot of money related things we've become desensitized to, though, as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Prices of things.
Yep.
Coffee.
Yes.
Like coffee in my brain, it used to be like $1.75 for drip coffee. Now it's, $3-4. Lattes
yeah.
are now $6-7. You want oat milk? $7 extra. It's insane.
Parking. We live in Nashville, so if you ever go downtown and you
gotta
get
pay
a
to
parking
park.
garage or parking lot, and it's like $20-$30, you're done.
Yep. Babysitters, because I'm paying for that now, Rachel. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Like on top of the cost of the date night, you're paying for
Yeah.
the babysitter for a few hours. That adds up.
Because on average in Nashville, I mean, it's anywhere from $20 to $30 an hour.
Yeah.
Depending on who it is. And then some people even more.
I would pay money to watch King Charles at the Cruz household.
Put him to bed in his
Put him
king
down in
bed.
that
in his
queen bed would just mean the world. One day I'll do it for free.
And we'll kid swap. We'll take it. Oh, the girls would be
What
obsessed.
a great swap. You get my 4-month-old baby and I get your wild 3 children.
Well, no, just Charles.
Oh, just Charles?
Yeah, he's 4.
I'll take him anytime.
Just get some trains. You're good.
Yeah,
You'll be
I'll play
good.
trains with Charles.
You'll be good. I promise.
Ambiguous fees, Rachel. We're so desensitized to like
Yes.
when you buy a ticket online for anything, there's a convenience fee.
So much.
And Airbnb, the cleaning fee. That's how they get you. Airplanes, there's always a fee for
You buy
everything.
a concert ticket, you look down and it's like fee.
Fee.
Yeah, fee.
I tried to buy tickets to some comedy shows and I gave up today. I went on Ticketmaster and I was like, nope,
Why? Because it was too expensive?
they're astronomically expensive.
Oh, George, buy the ticket.
No. It was hundreds of dollars, Rachel.
Oh.
Hundreds.
Yeah, is it like a known comedian? Like
There was-
Jerry Seinfeld?
It was an epic show in LA happening in May. It's like Seinfeld, Gaffigan, Nate Bargatze, all in one night.
Why would you not go, George? That's a bucket list type of a thing, and you love comedy.
Number one, I was like, who else is going to go with me that wants to spend hundreds of dollars and plan a trip to LA?
And you have to get an airline ticket to LA.
And transportation and lodging.
Wow,
and
you sound like
multiple
Nancy
nights.
Swift.
I'm not on that level.
Comes for a little circle.
I'm just unwilling. I'm
Except I pulled the trigger and had the time of my life. George,
I'll get there, Rachel.
whatever. I'm on baby step 7.
It just wasn't worth
crypto, but I'm George Campbell.
Whoa.
You should.
Is that what I sound like? I hate crypto.
You should buy that ticket, George.
All right, fine. I need someone to go. Would Winston go with me?
Just live like no one else.
Who's going to go with me? I don't want to go alone. Mm-hmm. Now people are going to be reaching out being like, I'll go with you.
I know.
I'd love to go
with you, George.
Oh, boy. Anything? Oh, subscriptions. They're killing us, Rachel.
Yeah, and then my other one is the movie theater. I said that. I told this story on a other Smart Money Happy Hour podcast. But when we went with our kids and we did...
I tried to guess the price.
And we did the dinner. I mean, we did. We went big.
Yeah.
But
was it like $200?
Crap.
Wasn't it $200?
Yes. It was a lot. And even just for a ticket. And then you buy an $8 bottle of water while you're there.
Oh, yeah.
But we sneak stuff in too. But man, it's just
still
a lot. Anyways, we just get used to it. We're desensitized.
That's right.
That point.
So why does this all matter? I mean, there's a lot of people who would argue our culture has gotten way too sensitive in some ways, but we're humans, we're made this way. So when is the right time to be sensitive to things, and when is the right time to just, let it go?
Yeah.
What do you think?
To be sensitive to things, I would say like with other humans, like
That's
in
good.
relationship and that kind of thing, right? When
Don't be callous. Don't let your heart grow cold.
Yeah.
Towards people.
Towards people.
Everyone's going through something.
We still want to be sensitive, I think, to like wrong and right in the world, right? Like there's wrong things that happen and we should not be okay with those things.
So like kind of the moral side.
Yeah, I think that.
Generosity.
Yes.
Don't get desensitized, even though that happens to me at tipping screens. I am desensitized to just going like, no.
I know.
No iPad, not today.
And then it is funny too, because I think we can be desensitized to even generosity because people, even some other YouTube channels, or you watch like some extreme thing on TV or whatever, that people give like insane money, like $50,000 and all that. And then when someone gives you money, or if they, I don't know, there's like an exchange that happens. Like I have a friend that waits tables, and she said, yeah, like sometimes it's like, a 30% tip. Normally you should be floored, but she's like, but then I just saw this video of this guy who left 100%.
Who got 100.
Yeah, so you like automatically like have expectations because of other things you've seen.
Well, that's true. Even income and wealth we've gotten desensitized to. Like $100,000 income was like, oh my gosh.
Right.
But now everyone's like, well, I mean, that's barely enough to keep up with inflation, Rachel.
I know.
And if you have $1 million, like, well, $1 million, that's a cute start. Have fun trying to retire off $1 million. We're just so desensitized to money in general.
It's
but
so
the number
true.
one thing we are desensitized to as a culture, Rachel, if this was Family Feud, the number one answer would be debt in my book.
Oh, I would agree with that.
Is that a hot take?
Yeah, because people are not floored by debt anymore. Or back in the day, I feel like it was like, wait, you have a credit card, or like you have a car loan.
Well, like our parents' generation was kind of like debt is bad. We should shun this. Grandparents especially.
Yeah.
Now it's celebrated. People on TikTok being like, I'm $15 million in debt and you should be too.
In real estate.
Those are the videos that we see that get shared and get likes and
there's a lot
clicks.
of them. Okay, so like student loans.
This is a big one.
Yeah, because college tuition is insane. And I'm the first person to say it. You look at it and you're like, wait, what? We met with our financial advisor. This was at the beginning of last year. I'll never forget it. And he talked about our 529s. We were looking at the kids. We had not done one for Charles yet. But we were looking. And he gave us the projection rate if inflation stayed where it was for an in-state tuition. And I can't remember the number now that I'm sitting here.
But it was
like
wild.
100,000. I mean, it was something beyond stupid.
Like what you would need to have in that account.
You're almost like, oh my gosh. Like at that point.
Is this worth it?
Is that worth? I mean, no. I mean, sitting here right now, like, no. Go get your real estate license and sell some houses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
go become a YouTuber. It's working out for us. Well, I mean, we both have college degrees. I, unfortunately, took out student loan debt, and it held me back as I became an adult of just like starting my life. And we've seen this with the stats. It's delaying people from starting families and moving to where they want to move and doing the things they want to do, buying a house, all sorts of things. So that is one we've gotten desensitized to because it's so normal now for us just to go like, well, you take out student loans. That's how you get through college.
Yep.
And student loans have not been around for very long. I mean, we're talking, decades ago.
Right.
This whole thing kind of started after the Soviet Union, Sputnik. So in my new book, Breaking Free from Broke, I walk through the entire history of student loans.
Wait,
that's why I know this. I did the research.
I genuinely don't. Please go. This is what we are here for.
Okay, so
Sputnik. Wow.
The Russians launched Sputnik. It's like a beach ball size satellite.
I know what it is.
Because conspiracy theories.
Because Ross on Friends dressed up as a potato one episode. He was
That's
just
what you think
Sputnik.
of?
Yep, Ross from Friends.
To be inside the brain of Rachel Cruz.
So the Russians send up Sputnik.
Yep. So America gets insecure and decides that our students needed more education.
Can I ask what year this is?
This was
19. Get the book out. Yes,
Rachel,
there.
it's right here. It's right
look
here.
Look at this.
Can I just show you? You're gonna love this chapter.
I
by
really
the way.
don't mean to be inquisitive.
No, Rachel's gonna
that
go
you don't-
read this chapter now. I'm
No.
really excited. Okay, you ready for this? Here we go. Okay, page 75.
Okay.
1957, the Soviet
Okay. So
Union
before,
launches the
3 years before
satellite.
we walked on the moon.
So 1958, Eisenhower creates a low-interest student loan program through the National Defense Education Act. So the money came directly from the government,
Wow.
and it's meant to make it easier for middle-class families to send their kids off to college.
Mm-hmm.
So in 65, Johnson wants to make this more accessible to lower-income students, so he signs the Higher Education Act, and it changes how the loans are funded. 1972, Nixon creates the Student Loan Marketing Association, SLMA,
Wow.
which turned into Sallie Mae.
Wow, there's got to be a conspiracy in all of this.
100%.
The government has some level of control over us.
And so over time, Sallie Mae goes from this like government-sponsored entity to a private organization that only exists to make money.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada.
Okay.
Siskumba, and we're all
See,
screwed.
And here's where I lose faith in humanity sometimes, George. Usually I'm a glass half full kind of gal. This is where I'm like, man, the intention of all of that started off so well, right? To help lower and middle class
Yes.
families go get a higher
A
education.
great education.
Like
and get better
to
jobs.
me, that hard, like that is so good. That is so good. But then the way that it is created,
Greed
path-
ruined everything.
well, the path happened. It puts people in debt, which again, their intention was for it to be good, but we all know that debt it just holds you down so much. And then the power and the money come into play.
100%.
And then it just completely blows up. I mean, it's just terrible. Wow.
Yep.
They're after your money.
You want the next one, Rachel? The thing we've become
And after our-
desensitized to?
What? I'm just kidding.
Rachel's like, this is my spin-off podcast.
I don't know. We're talking about space and debt in one episode.
What you have to know about
So great.
Rachel, she's always like 4 seconds away from turning this into a conspiracy theory. Like that is a talent that you have that no one else does.
Okay, what's the next one?
Next thing we've been desensitized to is car loans and car prices.
Oh, for sure.
Like
Yeah.
car prices are now, and I talk about this. I call it Carmageddon. I cover it all, Rachel. I don't do this to pitch the book. I'm just saying I've done the research.
And it's so good.
wild. So now like average car price, you're talking 40, 50 grand for brand new cars.
Yep.
And it used to be 10, 15, 20
Okay,
grand,
is that because
25
the
grand.
technology and the things in the cars now are more, they have to be more expensive.
Yes, but you know what I think? Conspiracy, just like college tuition blew up because student loans made it easier to get monopoly money. I think the same thing has happened with car prices. They
That's
can
probably
charge
true.
more because people are willing to take on more debt.
I agree with that. Yep.
And they don't mind because they're going to afford the payment, quote unquote.
Yep, yep.
And this one actually didn't make the cut, Rachel, for the book because it was just too much. It was too much. But I did the research on the history of car loans. And here's the thing: 1908 Ford Model T, you know it. It cost $850, which is about $20,000 in today's world. It was pricey. That was 18 months of the salary for the average wage back then. And then 1919, GM forms the General Motors Acceptance Corporation to provide financing for cars. So about 100 years ago, they were like, hey, more people will buy this if we let them take out debt for it.
Yep.
But the loans required about 35% down, with the rest of the payments due in a year.
Man,
So there you go.
have we
So
come far?
over time, the other car companies needed to compete, and so
It all
Ford
happened.
then launched their own to
Yep.
compete with GM.
Yep.
Yada yada, like Seinfeld, and here we are. Carmageddon's upon us.
Do you ever have a thought? This is in Rachel's brain too, because I'll see like period pieces, time movie, like Titanic or something.
Yes.
And you hear these dollar amounts, right? Or It's a Wonderful Life, after Christmas. Do you ever like imagine what if you if you time traveled back then with your money today?
Oh my gosh, how astronomically wealthy we would be.
Yes.
I would.
Do you ever think about that?
I would like change an entire village, like a little Hallmark movie. I'd be like, you know what? Everyone's debt's paid off. For $10,000, we're covering the debt for the
We're gonna
entire
do it all.
village.
And they're all just like,
They'd
what,
be like, who is
what
this
a
guy?
generous man.
But you know what this is like? Going to a lot of foreign countries where the currency is
Yes,
so devalued that like your
yes.
American dollar
Yes.
is worth a bajillion in
Yep.
their currency.
Totally. Yeah.
You know, Dave was just talking about this with me when he went to Egypt.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, it's like 3.5 cents to the dollar.
No way.
Yeah. It also reminded me of how blessed we are in America. As much
'Cause
as we
we're
like to complain,
desensitized.
we're
Back
so
to this point.
desensitized. Like our average salary compared to almost any other country is mind-boggling to
Yeah,
them.
absolutely.
So there's that.
All
Next.
right. Let's do home prices.
Yeah. So this is,
This is a
really
hot take.
mortgages. We've been desensitized to home prices and mortgages.
Mm-hmm.
And it rings true because home prices have, ballooned over the last few years. And that also means we've kind of been desensitized to the mortgages that go along with it. Because now we're like, well, rent's $2,800, so why not take on a $2,800 mortgage payment
Sure.
to make up for it? But it's not apples to apples. And so this is a big one. And people also keep their mortgages hanging around for decades and decades.
Yes, because that's normal too. We become
To go into retirement with your mortgage is so sadly normal.
Yes, I know, because we are so used to it. We're so used to debt, and so it's like,
Well,
oh yeah,
people
it's
are
not a
like,
big
I
deal.
can't pay off my student loans, let alone my house. Mm-hmm. And so part of it is just deprogramming a little bit and realizing that you can pay off the house if you got out of the other debt.
Yep.
So,
Okay, next one, George. Credit card interest rates.
yeah. Average now is 22%, Rachel. That's insane.
That is wild.
Like we
That's
complain
wild.
about mortgage rates at, 7-8%.
Yeah, and on a bigger number, obviously.
On a bigger
hundreds
scale.
of thousands of dollars.
But outside of, payday loans, credit cards have the highest interest rates on
Yep.
any type of debt.
Yep.
Just terrible. It's crushing people.
I think as a country in our culture, instant gratification, and you almost become desensitized because you're just doing what everyone around you is doing. And so it's this feeling of like, oh yeah, this is normal. And if this is normal, I'm okay. And because of that, these habits are created. We get into debts, credit card interest. I mean, all of it. That should be insane. Like we should look at some of this and be like, this is crazy. What are we doing? But we don't because it's all normal. And that's the world we live in. And so,
Well, and it all starts with the gateway drug, Rachel, the credit score.
yes.
Which, again, with my nerdy research, has only been around since the 90s. That we said, we need the credit score. How do you get it? You
Yep.
got to take out debt. You got to have the credit card. And so that starts the path for most adults when they're 18, 19, going like, payments are normal. I just have to afford the payment. That's the way of life. And when you can the earlier you can stop that mental process of going like, more payments, can I afford it? Instead going, can I afford it in full and get rid of payments? Then you can really start building wealth
Yep.
and living the life you want.
Absolutely. Okay, so what can we learn from all of this? What are a couple of things that people can put into practice to say, okay, this is good for me. This is pushing back. I'm not being desensitized. I'm sensitized. I'm sensitive. I am aware of the reality of what's going on and not blinded by the normalcy of what's going on.
Well, a lot of it points to instant gratification.
Yep.
That's the heart of a
agree
lot
with
of
that,
this.
yep.
We want it now. We can't wait. We don't have delayed gratification, which is the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to build that muscle over time. And it's a habit, like anything else. You have to build to go like, oh, I need to save $100 a month for a year to make $1,200. And then if I do that for 4 years, I can afford a $5,000 car.
Yep.
It's that kind of thinking that allows you to get out of this cycle.
Yeah, and I think our ego plays into a lot of this, right? Because you think about even the cars, right? As we were talking about that. And I'm like, it is. I'm like, there's a humbling experience when you drive a crappy car, right? I mean, like, it is what it is. But I'm like, we live in a world where a car means so much to people and it like says something about you and all of this. And it is amazing. I'm like, when you can trade your ego for peace of mind and a life where you're not owing people anything. Because, and I understand people say, oh my gosh, well, I need a reliable car, X, Y, and Z. But then the reliable car is a $50,000 new
That's
truck
insane.
or whatever. And you're just like, no. So it's this feeling of saying, oh my gosh, I'm going to put what everyone else thinks about me. And even a level of like, am I stepping backwards in life to do something different?
Yeah.
It's a big deal. And that delayed gratification, I'm going to be patient with it. It pays off in the long run.
Well, and parents
but it's
are
not
a big
exciting.
part of this.
People don't like that.
No. But I think parents have to swallow their pride because they put pressure on their own kids and want to live vicariously through
yeah.
them. And their kids are a reflection of how they're doing. And so that's part of the reason why the next generation gets stuck in these cycles. And there's some entitlement. Like, we did better than our parents, and our parents did better than their parents. And there's this cycle that's a good thing of you want your kids to do better than you did. But that also means I need the nicer car faster. I need the bigger house sooner.
Yes.
And so you compare yourself to where your parents are at or where your friends are at, and that causes a lot of these problems
Yeah,
too.
that's a good point.
Comparison culture.
Okay, next is to challenge yourself to take a break from debt. And you talk
Ooh.
about this in your new book. But you say like, what is it, a 30-day challenge?
So at the end of the credit cards chapter where I make the most compelling argument of all time. And this is according to my credit card friend who,
That's a promise.
He's a big fan of credit cards. And he was like, you made some really good points. So at the end I say, hey, I'm not going to ask you to cut it up today. That's the end goal. Just take a 30-day break, lock it up, put it in a block of ice in the freezer, whatever you have to do, and stick to using your own money for just 30 days and see how it changes the way you spend. And the results have been amazing. People DM me and they're like, I just thought,
idea.
I'll try it. What do I have to lose? I saved $700
Yep.
in just not spending that.
I would be a monster with a credit card.
Monster.
I would be out of control because it really, for me, I am the worst at this.
It's so easy.
Where I would truly not feel the pain of it. The only thing that saves me is knowing that money is coming out of my checking account the moment I do Apple Pay.
Yeah.
And it's gone. Like it feels like, oh my God, it's gone. Okay. It's gone.
If that was a problem for
But
future
if I
Rachel,
was like, oh, we'll worry about I'd be the add-on girl all day.
the add-on girl?
Oh, add that on. Throw that in. Do
Oh.
you need Yeah, no worries. Put it on.
Put hers on there too. You'd
I
be so
would.
generous with other people's money.
I would be.
Until
I would
you
be.
have to pay.
I really would. The credit card would be my
Ooh.
slippery slope. Yes. So don't be desensitized by this, you guys. It is so normal. Everything we were talking about, all of this debt.
Be weird.
It is, and I'm like, yeah, like do something different. Even though it feels like, oh no, everyone is doing it because they are. Do something different.
I
You
love
will
it.
get a
Well, and
different result.
Rachel, not to do a pitch, but that's the heart behind my new book, Breaking Free from
know,
Broke, that just
yes.
launched. It's officially out.
Congratulations!
For all the people
it's
to
in
enjoy.
The world. It's flying around the country right now.
Flying.
And boxes showing up at doors.
It's in people's
so exciting.
brains and ears now with the
It's one
audiobook
of my
and the
favorite
hardcover.
covers too, George. You're
Thank
just
you.
pushing back against the lies.
Pushing back against this toxic culture, trying to get you sensitized to debt.
Get out of here.
So that's a lot of the book, is unpacking the system of debt that we've all fallen for and then showing you a path out. And you're going to love it,
George.
Rachel. Out of
Oh.
all people, you are going to
I
love it
affirmed it. I love it.
because of the Taylor Swift reference.
All of it. And I say a line in your audiobook.
That's right. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'll say it now so everyone doesn't have to be
Yeah,
surprised.
say your line, Rachel. This is a big line that she has in the audiobook.
Hold on.
Really sell it.
Give a little until you can give a lot.
If that's not reason to buy it, I don't know what is. That alone, that's the moneymaker.
That was very scripted. Hold on. Casual Rachel. Here's casual Rachel. Give a little until you can give a lot.
That was good with the eyebrow raise and everything.
Did you see it? Oh, yeah.
That's
it's
classic
great.
Rachel.
Okay. Anyways.
Well, you got a few
I'm
mentions
in
in
the
there.
audiobook.
You made it. You made it. You made the big time, Rachel. But
So
yeah,
good.
I'd love for all of you to check it out. You can get it at RamseySolutions.com/store
Yeah, buy
and
that
love the
book, you
support.
guys.
Our Smart Money
It's so
Happy Hour
fun.
fans, they showed up.
Oh, I know.
They always do.
Y'all have been awesome. So great.
Love y'all.
All right, George, it's almost the end of the episode, and we close out every episode with
Guilty as charged.
And that's where our producer, Lindsay Alex, gives us a new Guilty as Charged question every week.
Do you have one?
I do.
You did?
Oh,
you came
good.
prepared?
I
was
came
like,
prepared.
did he know about
good
this?
Threw this
producing
on
right
before
there.
I got here.
Okay, what is it?
All right, great question. Have you ever pretended to know a song or movie
Oh no.
or pop culture reference to fit in?
All day.
Is there a day I haven't
doing
done
it.
that?
I've stopped doing it in recent years as an adult because it will come back and I feel like people can read you and be like, she hasn't.
I'm trying to think if I do this more with music. I think I do it more with movies. Music, it's harder to be like, oh yeah, I know that band. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's not a band, it's an artist. I'm like, oh, sorry.
shoot,
You
yeah.
know? So I don't try that because music people are snobby and they'll sniff it out.
Yeah.
But movies, you can be like, oh yeah, I think I saw that a while back.
See, now I've learned, this may be manipulative, I don't mean it to be, but if I haven't seen it or I don't remember it, I genuinely now can be like, no, I don't think so. Tell me more about it. And people love
Oh wow.
to then expand on it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, that's, and then it
And they walk away being like, I really like Rachel. She's just, there's something about her. It's so wonderful.
But then it genuinely creates good conversation. And I feel very okay with it. So yeah, yes, more as an adult, I'd say in my 30s, I always deny.
It usually
But
happens
earlier,
with,
if you're in a group, I would be the nodder. Like,
Well, any movie that's like more than 10 years old, I've no recollection of. And like, I probably did watch it at some point.
sure.
You know, like I've watched Jurassic Park. Do I remember anything? No. All I remember is Jeff Goldblum,
It's a great movie.
being the standout star. But so that's the truth, is I probably have seen it at some point, but I pretend I know more than I really
You haven't
do.
seen Father of the Bride. So I don't trust.
I think we need to start a movie list. I've just upset the entire cast and crew.
Yeah.
here,
I
telling
so
them I
upset.
have not seen Father of the
I still
Bride
can-
1 or 2.
I cannot believe it.
Martin Short.
I mean, they are.
I love
Frog?
Marty. Love Steve. Alex, how about you? I feel like you've never done this.
No, definitely. Probably with my kids, you know. Have you seen this
Oh.
meme? Have you heard it? You know, yeah, definitely.
Your kids lie to you, or do you lie to your kids?
No, me to my kids. I want to fit in with them.
What do you have to? What do you stand to win against your own children by lying to
You
them
know,
about this?
Be relevant.
you know, yeah,
be,
relevant. Yeah, stay
relevant.
relevant.
I feel like Winston would be like, "No, I don't watch trash movies like that," and everyone would be like, "Yeah, no, definitely,
More
it's a
like,
trash movie."
do you know what Riz means? Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it depends on who it is. If I'm trying to like impress them, like the less I know them, the more likely I am to lie. The
Even-
closer I am to them, the more I'm like,
Even
"No, I haven't seen
today,
it."
because I feel like I feel like it's a beautiful characteristic of someone to be like, no, I don't think I know that. Tell me, right? Because you're like,
That's so genuine.
they are so honest.
But I couldn't do that because I truly do not care. You know what I mean? Like, tell me, having someone explain a movie they like is one of the worst experiences known to man. Like, there's this scene, and like,
I'm sorry, George. I'm sorry.
and then they ruin the movie
Do
for
you know
you.
what,
Stop
is
calling
that
me out.
worse, or is what's other worse? Someone telling you their dream.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, I just
That should be a
crazy dream.
federal crime.
You're like, I don't care at all.
You should have to Venmo someone $10 every time you tell them about your dream.
I mean, even spouses.
Unless, here's the caveat: if they were in the dream, I'm intrigued.
That's fair.
I'm intrigued. You know, if like you were in my dream last night, I'm like, okay, this could get weird, but tell me more. It's a weird thing.
I know. But when people share their dreams, you're like, okay.
Oh, you know what? You were in a dream. You and Skylar, who's our associate producer.
Yes.
Can I tell you what it was?
Oh
It's
my
very
gosh, it's
short.
happening right now. Actually, I'm like, I don't care.
No,
at all.
It's, I'm not a long dreamer.
Okay, go.
I
What
remember one
happened?
thing about the dream.
What happened?
You and Skylar were hosting the Ramsey show, co-hosting together. And I just remember going
Skylar
like,
was here.
and I remember going like, Skylar can't co-host the Ramsey show. That's not a thing. And everyone was like, no, she can do it. It's fine. And I was so upset that no one else cared. I was like, she can't just do that. That was it. I don't know. That was the dream. Don't know what kind
Oh,
of,
it's so funny. Oh,
what was going on behind that, but
I know, Skylar.
sorry,
sorry.
Skylar. She's not here to defend herself today.
That is,
but
I know that's the worst part of all of
there
this.
you go. So yeah, we're both
Oh my
guilty.
gosh, so good. Okay. Who finished their drink first?
You were,
Me, New York Sour. It was delicious. Tell me what's in it because I
wouldn't you like to know?
am very confused. The flavors are interesting.
It's a New York sour is what it's called. It has bourbon,
Mm-hmm.
lemon juice, simple syrup, egg white, angostura bitters. So that's kind of your traditional whiskey sour.
Yeah.
Bourbon sour. Here's what makes it a New York sour: claret wine. Coppola claret wine. There's a little floater on top.
I don't even know what that is. It's like a liqueur.
You know Coppola wine? You've seen it? It's got like a gold netting around it.
Okay.
You may have seen that in stores.
Okay. Is it a wine?
It's like a $20 red wine.
Okay, so it's a wine.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's a good
Why is
wine.
it that specific? What's different between that and like a Pinot?
Maybe it's a Coppola New York connection. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know why they use this one, but they do. And
Okay.
here's the cost breakdown: $3.79 per glass. So
Okay.
you got to get a bottle of wine and the bourbon and all these things. So it's not the cheapest drink, but it's a real special one.
It's really fun.
Yeah, very
It almost
classy.
takes me back to December vibes.
Is
Kind
that
of
a
feels
Taylor reference?
back to December.
I don't know why. I was like,
So like subconscious in my soul. I didn't even mean that.
I don't know why in my head I'm like, Rachel just speaks in Taylor Swift lyrics at this point.
No, it could be almost a Christmas, like a winter.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like not Christmas. That's like I don't know. It has like a winter vibe, which I like.
100%.
Anyways,
So
so good.
recipe in the show notes. Give it a try this weekend if you
Yep.
want to be fancy.
All right, it's closing time. If you enjoyed this episode, if you will go and leave a review,
Do it.
We love it. We read them, appreciate them so much.
We got a lot of reviews about the Sharon Ramsey episode. I
We
got to call
did.
that
Everyone
out.
loves Sharon.
Everyone loves Sharon.
It's so fun. Yeah, and share this episode with a friend. If you get the word out, that is helpful as well. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an all-new episode next Thursday of
Smart Money Happy Hour.